the hell do you have on? So
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Connoisseur's Conversation. As always, thank you guys for coming. I just want to tell you guys, all you new subscribers, thank you for doing so. Thank you for joining the community. Thank you for joining the collaborative effort of bringing what it is to have fragrances, cigars, and wines into a community of men and women who really love to venture off into these particular aspects of life as their hobby goes. I'm going to do, like I said, a Connoisseur's Conversation. If you guys don't know, I break down my videos into a lot of different segments and playlist styles. So this is the Connoisseur's Conversation. What this is, I'm speaking about one fragrance in mind. I also have the actual capsule selections, and that's where I go into list and perfume categories that I think fit a certain actual composite of what a fragrance can do, from alluring to gravitas of sensuality to business, leisure. Everything in those go into this capsule selections. And then I also have the Crown series. And the Crown series is where I talk about one specific brand, and that is giving a total of how I think a brand should be adopted into a person's collection, or at least how I see that actual collection to be well curated. And then I have my blend series, which is the blend standing for business, leisure, evening, elegant, night out, and daily, where I talk about a fragrance wardrobe for a specific season, and I talk about how to wear that 5-component wardrobe throughout your season that you choose to. So those are all what we have here at the Dry Down. So I want to thank you guys for joining, and if you have the opportunities to look at those videos, go right ahead. As I stated, we're going to get into a Connoisseur's Conversation today, and we're going to talk about a fragrance from the brand of Sospiro IL Padrino. One of the fragrances that I heard so much about, so many people were talking about what it is. It's really a trending fragrance, and to me, I picked it up, and this is a scent that really truly embodies what it is to have the presence of richness and a nice little quiet dominance about itself and its personality, and the way it takes its cues as a perfume architecture. In giving this a fragrance, what I'm going to state, I do a graph breakdown. Many of my people know this, many of you guys know this. In this graph breakdown, I usually give a point system from 0 to 100. I tell you the rating up front and give you the notion of what it is I'm going to break down throughout the video. So this is going to be an 84 out of 100 or 8.4 out of 10. I give you the composition. I give you the actual wearing of it, which is the performance aspect of it. I give you the presentation. I give you somewhat of a demographic and impression at the end of the video for who might want to wear this, what, when, and where to wear it to, and go from that on. And like I said, this is going to be an 84 point fragrance, so get right into the composition. If this sounds like the type of content that you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuances of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's wonderful, wonderful experience. As I stated, we're going to dive right into a scent profile from the brand of Sospiro. It's one of those that is designed for the people who love the commanding of attention, one who, as a personality type, loves to have a conversation with many different people, congregate around those people, and have their voice heard. You don't have to raise your voice at all when wearing this particular scent. It's not one of those small, quiet, timid fragrances. It is a boisterous fragrance, so it's one that's very flirtatious and playful while still being grown man sexy. So let's get right into the composition, guys. This is going to be a great little review. We have on hand the scent of Sospiro's Il Padrino. Let's talk about the composition in total. As I always say up front, I gave this a 45 out of 50, and I'm going to give you the reason why. This fragrance opens up with a smooth booziness that is a splash of rum and amaretto. If you're like me, you were not aware of what the amaretto note really procured in a perfume. You maybe heard some things from brands like Electimus. I know what amaretto smells like, and to me, what the surprise notion is in this particular scent is how well they capture the amaretto note. Amaretto is a cherry blended style of liqueur, and it is done so well and so perfectly in this one. So if you're a person who loves to drink cocktails, the opening of this particular scent profile is exactly what you want when thinking of a very spectacular cocktail, because it embodies everything that's in a rum drink: the Cuban rum, the sugarcane rum, sweet, warm, and then that spicy cherry of the amaretto. That spice aged rum, and it comes off very, very well in the richness and the brightness, because when you open this fragrance up, you have a very beautiful domineering touch of bergamot and blackcurrant bud, which is one of the best contrasting notes and creations when you talk about a fragrance, from its sweetness to its freshness and brightness in the opening composition. Very addictive opening, instantly addictive, I would say. That's one of the best things about this particular scent profile. You put this architecture together because you want that opening to be something very more attraction and alluring. And it is one of those fragrances, because when you go throughout the opening of this, when you then transfer to a beautiful heart, and that's when you step into a blossoming of patchouli, a camphoric, cakey style patchouli, not hippie style, not very green grassy style, just a warm cakey style of patchouli that comes in a little bit camphoric for the woodiness and take of that. Then combining that with the creaminess and the amber of the mid is just where you start to have this beautiful, nothing sharp, nothing abrasive about the patchouli, but it's then that refined moment where they start to layer together and become an ambery, rich sandalwood, warm, layered fragrance throughout the actual mid of this particular scent profile. The sandalwood is something that gives this a creaminess, which I think most people enjoy as one of the parts that I've heard the most, while they start to talk about how the transition from that fruity openness that can be slightly fruit punchy from the amaretto cherry style, it then goes into that creamy, ambery richness and woodiness that you start to have with that sandalwood. And it then, once that is wrapping you in that warm amber glow, you start to head to the base of this particular scent. And then that's where you start to have the hum of allure. That's where you start to have the hum of attraction, because finally the base of Il Padrino is where you start to get what I would say is actually particularly succumbing to what its name is, the Godfather style of scent. I would say more like Michael becoming Godfather, more or less than Marlon Brando, but Godfather nonetheless. You get what it is to have a beautiful benzoin, Siam benzoin, vanilla wood. Vanilla wood is the one I've not heard of as a note structure or a note compound till I actually ran into this particular scent. So I'm still doing research on that to see what it is that it favors. Is it Madagascar vanilla? Is it bourbon vanilla, which is still a Madagascar region, not particularly a smoky or alcoholic woody vanilla. It's more about the region of how rich that actual vanilla is. I've heard of CO2 extracted wood. This one, first time hearing about vanilla wood. So I'm really eager to see how many more fragrances will contain that actual note. And here, done well. Labdanum, rich, sweet. We know that labdanum, benzoin, those are two of the main components along with vanilla that create the amber accord. So you have everything right there in this richest profile, the base. Siam benzoin, vanilla, and labdanum. Rich, ambery, all put together perfectly. This is the type of scent you can wear everything casual to a tailored suit. It's very smooth, very resinous, and very balsamic. As you go throughout the base on this one, it adds this sexy layer to it, because benzoin is a subtle honeyed warmth in this one, while the labdanum deepens into this leathery richness profile with that amber. And then the vanilla wood, it brings just enough sweetness to keep the edge rounded. You know, it's that type of smooth fragrance. And so as I'm wearing this composition, I take it as a special one indeed, because it is one that not only me breaking down the top notes, the mid notes, and the base notes, it is one that has a very rich evolution on skin. Transitions gracefully, very gracefully. For me, rich boozy opening, very sensual, layered, textured, woody mid notes and heart notes. And then that base where you settle into the resinous seductiveness of the fragrance that you have in hand. Il Padrino, every note has its place. No note feels unbalanced. It doesn't feel like it's wavering. It doesn't feel like it's trying to compete against one another. It's very much so one of the balanced compositions that Sospiro has put out. In my honest opinion, it smells phenomenal. It is bold, but it is not brash. And that's one thing I like about this one, because it has a little bit of elegance about it. And I don't mind that, because it's not timid at all, but the elegance is in there. So that's why I give this composition an actual 45 out of 50, because it's a very well done composition that smells phenomenal. Compliment getter, one that is very attractive, one that has that playful flirtiness about it, more flirty, playful than sexual, sensual, but you still get it all wrapped into one particular fragrance that makes you an attractive person while wearing it. Next, let's get into the performance. So ladies and gentlemen, we talk about performance, we're talking about two things. We're talking about sillage and we're talking about projection. When we talk about that with Sospiro Il Padrino, this one here is, to me, it's two parts. It delivers a strong, very strong, noticeable projection. And then a sillage. The sillage about this one is very much so what I like to have as a smell. The sillage on this one is a trail of fruity ambery wood. So I'm going to give this an actual 16 out of 20. The rum and amaretto opening makes this a great entrance of a fragrance, a great opening. It settles in closer to the skin as that amaretto starts to die down, but nothing too close. This is a nice oral scent, nice ambient scent with that sillage trail behind you. So it's still one that has presence on you, still has a very special scent profile behind you, especially when spraying it on clothing. I would say this does not become an intimate scent until you get to the 5-hour mark. The 5-hour mark, you begin to have a little bit what it is to have the intimate scent. The longevity is still solid on this one. The trail is still sophisticated at that point. It's never overpowering. It's just the right amount of texture. It gives you about 15 hours on skin, which is good. But the 15 hours is just something that settles in. So if you put this on, I'd say around 1 p.m., 3 p.m. in there. Once you get to the actual 12 o'clock mark when you're going to be laying down your head next to your loved one, the scent profile, if you have not taken a shower at that point and you haven't gone to the gym or you've been out on your date and you're coming in, you're going to make love, this is the scent profile that you're going to have in your skin, where I love to talk about you're not blowing someone's nose out. And it still smells phenomenally attractive. That's when that base that I spoke of in the composition comes up. And it's ambery, it's rich, it's resinous, and it's also something that has a freshness to it for some odd reason towards the base. And I'm expecting that is from that heavy use of the amaretto note. So if I did not say that about the opening in this one, the amaretto note is very much so the punchline in the opening of this particular scent. So great performance, great projection, and great sillage. Next, let's get into what it is to have the presentation. On this particular scent profile, typical of Sospiro, the bottle is luxurious. The rich texture of the blue velvet is wonderful on the shelf. It's one of the, I'd say, choosing brown. I have the reds, I have the blues, I have the grays. The contours on this bottle are beautiful. And then when you have this rich brown texture with the gold plaque, the gold atomizer, and the gold cap, you have a very beautiful design that feels like a statement piece on your shelf. My only small note is that it's not the most travel-friendly style of bottle. It's one that you can't take along with you in any shape or form, because the velvet will actually become something that's unbecoming to the bottle presentation once it wears, once you get scratches on it, once you have heavy dents on it. Unlike most bottles that have just a glass or a slight painting on it, this one, once it starts to become a worn looking bottle, they don't look great on the shelf. That's my only knock on it. But once you have this on your shelf, if this is something you keep inside of a cabinet, keep it dust free, it's going to look great forever on your shelf. This one, to me, they give a solid 9 out of 10 in presentation. The bottle, like I said, is wonderful. The atomizers are always pressurized, and the box that they come in, of course they come in a shipper box, but they also come with a velvet lined box that they have carried over from the brand when it was owned by Xerjoff. We're a very classy hard cardboard box. Of course, it has the labeling on it. It has Sospiro written on the top. It has the butterfly to give you different points of execution that shows this is a actual trademarked and non-faked, non-duped bottle of perfume. I say most often that you need to look at most of the literature that is placed on the bottom of the box. I'll pause that there if you guys truly wish to see what it is to have an authentic bottle from Sospiro. You have the actual butterfly on top. You have the velvet lined pedestal, and in the opening of the actual top of it, that'll give you more clarity too. They have a cutout that is meant for the actual bottle top to say sturdy in. So if you're ever looking for, I'm not sure how many fakes of these bottles are out there, but I know that we always wish to know what it is to have a true presentation and what it is to have a fake or a real bottle. So this actual fan of the what is meant to be the butterfly wing sits straight into a cutout that does not allow the bottle to move. And so that's what you get from the presentation. Great attention to detail, hard cardboard, and like I said, it also comes with these two stickers that are well detailed stickers that need to be cut and sliced to show that you have an authentic fragrance and you have not had something that is tampered with. So great attention to detail, like I said, with the actual presentation, and the bottle is just beautifully done as always. So that's the bottle presentation for Sospiro. Next, let's get into what it is to talk about. Let's get it either to the demographic or the impression. You know what? Let's talk about wearability and seasonality first. So this one here, when we talk about wearability and seasonality, we're talking about when, what, why, and where to wear it. These are fragrances that all have a actual purpose behind them. To me, always, that my fragrance has a purpose behind it. Either I'm trying to be flirtatious, I'm trying to do something in business where I have to be stoic, I have to be assertive, or I'm wearing something that just is of a cool and relaxed, casual vibe. To me, this one is one of those fragrances where I say think lounges, think date nights. Don't think so much of being suited, but you can wear a blazer or a suit jacket, something that is fun and unstructured, but nothing too stuffy. If you wear a blazer with a mock neck or a turtleneck, or even a nice casual crew neck sweater, you're going to go off fine with this one. This one fits into that category, especially if you're looking to be upscale casual. You can still wear that type of attire with this one, but this one also spreads across the world of wearing something as casual as a nice flannel, a pair of jeans, and a pair of something like a pair of Red Wing boots of some sort. You're going to go off fine with that one. So it actually is a fragrance that fits across many genres of perfume wearers and perfume types. Very, very classy, but very, very playful and flirtatious, while still being youthful, fun, and can go across. I would say this is not an office safe scent. As I continue to smell from the scent strip, I cannot see myself wearing this particular daily wear as an office safe scent. Warm days, I wouldn't say wear it either. This is one that feels rich. It can feel heavy. And so with all those rich notes of cherries and rum in the top, the sandalwood and patchouli in the mid, and then the base notes, of course, the resinous amber feel of the base, it's not one I would wear in warm days. But it shines very, very beautifully in the seasons of early spring, all through winter, and all through autumn. So for this one, I'm giving it a 10 out of 15 for the seasonality and wearability, because it has its moments, very, 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 very particular moments that it has to be worn in to make it feel and shine special. That's great, great smelling right there, though, man. I can't get enough of smelling this test strip. Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of the smaller components of it, but it's also something that matters. Let's talk about the impression and demographic of this particular scent. Il Padrino turns heads. It's a boozy, fruity opening fragrance that is magnetic. It is simply just amazing drawing in type of fragrance. The resinous base on this one gives it a signature that you want in a fragrance, that you think can be fun to wear, and that you think can lean spectacularly and particularly, masculine. But it also works beautifully as a unisex fragrance. So if you have a lady in your life who wants to pull some of your fragrance off the shelf, she won't mind wearing this one because of that fruity opening and that creamy base. But mostly for me, this has become one of those scents that really lean toward the playful, energetic, flirtatious side of the masculine wearing demographic. And so for me, those who loves a richness, those who love a depth, and those who love a texture fragrance will get great wear out of this one, especially for the moments in which I talked about in the wearability. The scent doesn't just make impressions to me. It is one of those scents that leaves behind one. And so the actual presentation, the actual scent profile, the actual composition, the actual performance is one that is great for this one. So as far as it goes, I'm thinking about youthful 25 to 45-year-old men wearing this one, approaching 46, 47-ish in that age range where you start to get into your, playfully, bar-like scenes, stuff like that. You can wear this up to about 50, I would say. Anything above 50 is kind of getting to a little bit of a youthful scent that you might not want to pull out. There's more scents in the resinous boozy feel, like Enigma from Rosia, that you might want to pull out to smell more spectacular than this one, because that fruity opening can be something of a more youthful, flirtatious smell for you. So for this and for that, I give this one a particular well-deserved score, because it does turn heads, a 4 out of 5 for the demographic that it is suited for wearing and the possibilities of getting a lot of compliments in it. So that is Il Padrino's actual Connoisseur's conversation. I hope I hit the nail on the head for a lot of you guys looking to understand what this fragrance actually does, what it smells of and smells like. The composition, 84 out of 100 is the number for the score. Like I said, at the end of the day, the breakdown tells me to tell you this. This is a great 10 to 12 hour fragrance, maybe up to about the 14-hour mark. The presentation deserves a 9 out of 10 because it's a Sospiro and they always do things right the way they perform. The presentation, the packaging, the velvet bottles, the actual feel and contour of it. The wearability is a 10. The impression on this one is a 4. And that brings this one, like I said, totally to an 84 out of 100. That is a great, great score to obtain from me here at the Dry Down. just a wonderful scent, man. The air, like right now, it is lingering after spraying it 4 times in the air, 2 on the scent strip and twice in the air. Il Padrino is a great scent, so it's not for everyone. Like I said, it's not for the older, more mature gentleman in a lot of ways. I would say 50 and up, look elsewhere. But for the young crowd, this is a great fragrance to get into. For the fragrance collector who enjoys depth, who enjoys powerful fragrances, and enjoys a lot of elegance, but wanting a fruity touch to their resinous fragrances, this is a beautiful, beautiful blend and great architecture for you to get your nose on. This is Il Padrino from the brand of Sospiro. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I hope you guys found this video well educational and entertaining. As always, like I love to say, sense is memory, collecting is legacy, and community is culture. And we here at the Dry Dial, we are the culture. We emphatically embody the culture, man. Thank you for guys joining the community. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me, and thank you for tapping in and subscribing. If you've had any actual wearing experience with Il Padrino, drop below. Let me know what it is that you had in this, and let your other community members know exactly what it is that you guys have been having with your experiences in this particular scene. Until next time, stay bold, stay balanced, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.